Thanksgiving has just passed in the United States. It is the season of gratitude, and Nike does want to thank us, in their own words. This release of the Air Jordan 11 is a thank you to our day ones and those committed to carrying the Jordan legacy forward. And to show us their immense appreciation, Nike is charging us $230 to give us one of the best shoes of 2023. I would have loved if they thanked us for free, but beggars can't be choosers. Air Jordan 11 Gratitude. Now this shoe is a reimagining of the 2006 Jordan 11 DMP, which stood for Defining Moments Pack. That pack consisted of a Jordan 6 as well as a Jordan 11 that was meant to celebrate the first of Michael Jordan's 2 three-peats, so from the 1990 to 91 NBA season, as well as the 95 to 96 season. The Jordan 6 DMP actually came back in 2014, and a lot of people have been looking forward to this shoe coming back, and it's finally here. Now this shoe is dropping on December 9th for $230, very expensive. In 1995, when the Jordan 11 first released, it came out for $125, which is around the buying power of $250 today. So you could say we're getting a bargain. Not really. Now right off the bat, obviously you can't miss it. The most significant change to this shoe is swapping out the usual mesh, the ballistic nylon mesh, to full leather on the upper sole. And as someone that thinks leather is king, might be a little controversial, because I know a lot of people just want like one-to-one remakes of a shoe that they really like, but I love leather, and I can't say I'm not a fan of this. I cannot say that. I might even choose this one over the 2006 version. That's just me. It is what it is. And the leather on this shoe, whew, it is nice. It's nice and soft. When you press down, you can see the wrinkles. Even going all the way up the tongue, you can clearly see the grain of the leather. I like it. And one thing to point out is the straps that you see that's connected to the laces. Those have also been swapped out to leather. Unlike the Neapolitans, they kept the mesh on those straps. This shoe completely swaps it out for leather. And again, as a leather lover, can't complain. I do like that change. And then going to the mudguard, of course, it's the most distinct feature of the Jordan 11. It is that patent leather, that glossy patent leather. I don't really love patent leather like in a vacuum. Creases a lot. I don't really love that shiny look. But obviously, this being a Jordan 11, it's the most distinct feature about the shoe. I can't really buy a Jordan 11 and then complain about the patent leather, so I don't mind it. And fun fact, this shoe was designed by Tinker Hatfield, legendary designer. He wanted this shoe to have more of a premium upscale aesthetic, kind of like a tuxedo. And I believe Michael Jordan was the one that actually came up with the idea. So they decided on patent leather, and the rest is history. Now, one difference between this shoe and the 2006 DMPs, the patent leather on this shoe is slightly higher, so it goes up a bit more. I don't have the 2006 DMP in hand, so I can't do a side-by-side comparison, but it's not a significant amount. And another difference is the golden Jumpman that you see on the heel. Number one, it is slightly shinier than the 2006 DMP. And number two, you'll see on the left shoe, the Jumpman is actually facing the other way on the 2006 DMP. That's kind of odd. It was the first time, I believe, that they did that. So it's technically facing the wrong way. I'm glad they reversed and changed it back to the normal Jordan 11 Jumpman direction for this shoe. And another difference, probably my favorite detail about this shoe, the 23 booty, it actually comes as like its own piece. So I can tap it and you'll hear like a solid structure. So it's not like a printed 23, and I do like that. It just feels a lot more premium. And another place you see that 23 that you see on the booty is on the insole of this shoe. And going right down the middle of the tongue, another pretty unique feature of the Jordan 11, it is that tag that says Jumpman Jordan with that Jumpman logo in the middle. And then inside the tag of the tongue, usually it'll say quality basketball product inspired by the greatest player ever. For the gratitudes, they changed it up a little bit. So it reads quality basketball product created in gratitude by the greatest player ever. And then down the side, you'll see the words thank you. And you'll also see the exact same word thank you in the exact same font in the box, which I'll get to later. And is it just me, or even though the font looks pretty cool, it does kind of look a little stubby, a little fat? Not like fat shaming, but just a little stubby. And the Jordan 11 does come with a Phylon midsole with a full-length carbon fiber plate. Love that. Carbon fiber is one of my favorite things to put in sneakers, especially basketball sneakers. It's just so light, offers so much support and durability. And this shoe also comes with a full-length Nike Air unit. Now this was actually the last Jordan shoe to use Nike Air. It went on to use Zoom Air, starting from the Jordan 12 onwards. So in some ways, it's kind of an end of an era. And this shoe also comes with a rubber outsole. It's got some herringbone traction, and just look at how beautiful that outsole is. Honestly, from Jordan like 1 to 11, all the outsoles are pretty nice. Now the Neapolitan, obviously that has a pink outsole, slightly more out there. This one has a slightly more milky color. Out of the two, I think this is just more wearable. I definitely go with this one. Now for $230, Jordan Brand will not give us extra laces because their gratitude only extends so far, I guess. So we get the default laces. I mean, I'm complaining, but I probably would have just kept the default laces out of the box. But for $230, I need them to throw in something extra. Something. Give me something. In the box of the shoe, a pretty nice looking box with a gold Jumpman in the middle and a gold 23 on the side of the box. And inside the lid of the box, you'll see that same fat, chubby font that says thank you, just like the inside tag of the tongue. In the paper of the box, it has thank you in a bunch of different languages. So if you're multilingual, there you go. Now in terms of sizing and comfort, I'm a size 9.5 true to size. I do have wide feet. Usually for Jordan 11s, I just go true to size. One thing that I do have to point out is in the beginning, out of the box, the toe box might feel a little stiff, a little tight, especially if you have wide feet, but definitely have patience, just break it in, it'll get better. But from like the toe box and going back, it's very comfortable. I really like the comfort of the 11s. I think it's a very snug shoe, and even though it looks pretty chunky, it looks pretty bulky, it's a very light shoe. So the Phylon midsole as well as the carbon fiber plate, those definitely have weight savings to it. So it's way lighter than you would imagine if you've never worn this shoe before. It's still relatively flat to the ground compared to modern day shoes. That's kind of what I prefer. And the padding around the ankle collar, inside the shoe, I have no complaints. I think the 11s, apart from the initial break-in period for wide footers, I think the 11s are very comfortable. So whether or not you have wide feet, I do recommend just staying true to size. If you do have super wide feet, you might be able to make a case to go up half a size if you don't want to go through that initial break-in period. But for me, if I had to choose, I'm sticking true to size. And that brings the total sole score to 37 out of 40. A very high score, actually tied for the highest score compared to other general releases. Now I thought about categorizing this shoe as a special release, but in the end, I think this still qualifies as a general release. But regardless, in terms of colorway, can't really get much better than this. I think it's a really nice colorway. White and black, slightly milky outsole, a hint of gold obviously on the Jumpman, on the heel, as well as that little gold on the middle of the tongue, as well as the booty of the shoe. I think it works really well. I really like the colorway of the shoe. Now in terms of materials, like I mentioned before, I love leather, so I actually do like this change that they made. And the leather on the shoe, super, super nice. I like the materials. And in terms of the tech specs, especially the carbon fiber plate, the full-length Nike Air unit, as well as the Phylon midsole, all specs that I do like. So really, there's no complaints from me for the materials of the shoe. And in terms of comfort, mentioned this before, I think it's a very comfortable shoe. It's lightweight. The toe box area, that's the only nitpick if I have any. Kind of feels a little tight when you first break it out of the box. But apart from that, I think it's very comfortable. Now in terms of the versatility, the silhouette of the Jordan 11, even though it still looks pretty much like an athletic looking shoe, like a basketball specific shoe, I think this is one of those Jordans after the 4s probably, or even the 5s. I think this is one of those Jordans that has crossed over into the mainstream. Like a lot of people who are not sneakerheads might recognize this shoe, especially if they watch Space Jam. This shoe was in Space Jam, and it's one of the more popular silhouettes, and it's relatively simple. So I think the 11s are a versatile silhouette in terms of their versatility of the colorway. White, black, can't really get much better than that. It's pretty much as easy to wear as you can get. In the spirit of gratitude, I do want to say thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video to hear my final thoughts, and I don't really have any. It's just a nice, simple shoe with really great materials, a very comfortable shoe, one of the most sought after shoes, I think, of 2023. A beautiful looking shoe. That's all I got to say. So that's it. Thanks for watching, Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 11 Gratitude. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.